Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 5, Episode 33. If you counted all of these podcasts together, it'd be a really long show, but there was 227 of them. I'm Craig.
And my name is Britt. 227 episodes at about 60 minutes apiece, roughly. That's a lot of goddamn content.
That is, damn it. Damn it.
I gotta do swim. Hold on.
All right.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, whoa. 227 times 60. That's 13,620 minutes. So redivide by 60 brings us back to 227. So that's 227 hours, 24 hours in a day. That's 9.5 days of content.
Pure.
I'll let you know when we get to 10.
Unadulterated content.
Absolutely. Craig, how are you? We have not been on together since the unpleasantness that was the AFC Championship.
That's true. I am good. I'm good. Super Bowl still stings, but I'm good otherwise. It's all right.
Oh, no. Listen to me.
Yeah.
It should sting.
Oh, it does.
It needs to sting.
Oh, it does. It does.
Your pain will make you powerful. You need to focus your anger.
Oh, so wait. If you lose a Super Bowl, you become a Sith?
If you do it right, sure.
Oh, right.
I mean, some people just sit there and go, oh, okay, whatever. But some people sit there and channel their effort, find a wrinkled old man who sits there and goes, good, over and over at them again. But I'm getting way off topic already. We're a minute in and I'm already off topic. Let's go back to and start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So today, I have a beer that we picked up last weekend. This is Velvet Pilsner from Berlinetta. It's a lager. It's a Czech lager.
So let's tell people while you're getting ready to taste that, let's tell people about Berlinetta. Berlinetta is a local small brewery in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Pretty much very close to both where Craig and I live. And it's small, it's in the downtown area, but their big thing is they are very German inspired. They do German style beers and they do traditional European beers in that kind of, like, for lack of a better term, just German style. Yeah,
this one in particular is a Czech Pilsner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all Europeans, very European styles. You're not going to find an IPA there. I went in and I said to the guy, and I knew the answer. This was what did we were there Saturday?
Yes.
So I go in there and I said to the guy, he's like, what can I get you? I was like, I'm an IPA guy. And he goes, we don't do IPAs. I'm like, I know. He goes, but I have this lager that is really dry hopped and really hoppy. And man, was it good. The Gold Coast lager they make was amazing.
Oh, I'll have to try it next time. So if
you haven't had that?
I don't think did I have it last time? I don't think I did.
Oh, it's so good.
If someone just gave you that in a glass, you would think it was an IPA?
No, I would know I'm not drinking an IPA, but if Germany had invented the IPA, this is what it would taste like.
Oh, all right.
It's still a German style. It's very light. It's very light tasting. It's light in color. It's crisp, but it's hoppy. And that's what makes it IPA-ish for me. And not hoppy like dry your mouth out hoppy. Hoppy like you are drinking a beer that has been dry hopped. Like it tells you I'm a lager. It's like a lager that dressed up as an IPA for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
You're looking at it and you can say, okay, that is not an IPA. That is an IPA costume. But it's close enough.
But it is. I already poured it in the glass, so there was no sound effect. But it's very good. It's a lager, so I mean, if you're used to drinking IPAs, it is going to taste different, but it is very good. Very easy to drink.
And it's good to switch up once in a while. I have been the winter months are a bad time for me because everything is stouts, and I am not a stout person. I don't have anything against stouts. For somewhere along the line, it became popular for you to either be stouts or IPA, and if you like one, you must hate the other. And I don't understand that mentality. But I've had conversations with people who are like, have you tried this stout? And I'm like, oh, I'm not a stout guy. Oh, you're one of those IPA guys. Like, I just got like a scarlet letter on me somehow because I'm not a stout guy. So, somewhere along the line, that became an issue. I don't know where or when or how, but it did.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when that actually happened.
But I find myself like the other day I opened my fridge and all I had in it was IPAs. I was like, you know what? Not gonna, not feeling it today. I can't remember when I ended up reaching for. I think I ended up reaching for a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Oh.
Because I got a few of those in there. But sometimes you want something different, you just do. So I am not drinking tonight. I am continuing my pattern of trying to be very conscientious about my drinking. I am only drinking on weekends at this point. Although I will say this, ready for some old man news?
Sure.
People who know me know that I've had stomach issues my entire life, and I've had a couple of surgeries and whatnot. And so I take a very specialized kind of vitamin. The people who make my vitamins, about a month ago, said, hey, by the way, we're discontinuing your old vitamin in favor of a new, better formula that's going to be different, and we think it's going to be better. So I was like, okay. So it came in last week. I'm like a week, maybe 10 days into it. I have not had a single blessed hangover since I switched to this vitamin.
Really?
I am starting to believe that and when I say I haven't changed. I'll have 3 to 5 beers depending on how I'm feeling on any given night if I want to have a few drinks. I have not changed that drinking pattern. It's not like, oh well, you're drinking 2 beers less a night, that's why you're not hungry. Oh, you're drinking more water. No. I've always drank water. I've always drank electrolyte beverages when I drink. But ever since I switched to this new vitamin, all of a sudden I wake up and I feel fine the next morning. And I'm starting to wonder if a lot of my struggles with not feeling well after I have even just 2 beers some nights. I would have 2 beers, and the next morning I wake up and I'd be like, oh my God, what happened last night? Nothing happened last night. You're getting old. And I thought, I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to change my drinking patterns or something like that. But I changed this vitamin, and all of a sudden, I haven't changed anything else about my drinking when I drink on the weekends, and I'm 1,000 times better. I'm like,
wow, that's great.
I don't know. I'm giving it credit, but I don't know. I just don't know. I just know that I feel better.
Well, I mean,
in
if
the
that's
mornings.
if that's the only thing that changed, then
That's the only thing I can figure that changed. I mean, maybe next Wednesday I'll sit here and I'll get really, really drunk on the air, and we'll see what happens Thursday morning. I'll do a follow-up post. But anyway, way off topic. Let's jump into some burning hot takes. The beautiful thing about the offseason is we can go off topic.
we can.
So, giving or receiving, where are you tonight?
I will receive.
Okay, so I got to think of 2 questions here. All right, I got one.
Okay.
And along the headline of going off topic, I'm getting ready to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
I leave 60 days from today.
Okay.
By the way, just so you know, I'm not going to be here that week to record. The end. Live from the boat in Alaska. Today we started talking about plans for packing. When you go away for something like this, cruise ships, as wonderful as they are, it's not like, oh, I'm going to another city and I forgot my toothbrush. If you want to buy a toothbrush from the cruise ship, they're going to charge you like $27. So you got to plan and pack accordingly. So here's my question for you. When you are sitting down to pack for a trip like this, because I know you've taken cruises in the past, I'm sure you've taken trips where you're like, okay, I want to make sure I don't forget anything. What is your priority? What is the thing that you sit there and go, this is the first thing I want taken care of?
Like the first thing that you want to pack, like so you don't forget?
Yes. Like you're sitting here saying, okay, I'm starting to prepare for this trip. Now we're going on a cruise. It's the other side of the country. So we're 2 months out and we're starting to think about these things. Most people, for some trips, it may be a day or 2 before, maybe a week before. But when you sit down and start planning out what you need to take with you on a trip, what is like generally the first thing you're like, okay, this is where I have to begin for whatever reason? Some people say, well, I got to start with clothing because I got to take a bunch of clothes with me, et cetera, et cetera. What is the first thing you think about when you're planning a trip?
That's a good question. Me, this is going to sound really dumb. But for me personally,
yeah,
I have like a horrible, like jaw grinding. So I have a professionally made mouth guard. So that would be on my top of my list.
There you go. So. And I think this does differ per person. And the reason I bring it up is because I started to have this conversation with my wife tonight. And her response to, we need to start thinking about what we're going to take and make sure we have all our stuff. And it's because I'm thinking to myself, we got to go get like travel items, like travel shampoos and stuff like that. She's like, yeah, I got to figure out what books I'm taking. And I said, that's the biggest concern? And she's like, well, we're going to be gone for a week. I need at least 7 books. Seriously?
So now, well,
Your...
here's a question. Is she packing books or are these like ebooks?
Well, that's what I asked her. I said, so you're packing 7 physical books? And she goes, oh, no, some will be on Kindle and some will be physical books, but I got to decide which one are which and which books I want to bring. I'm like, this is the most pressing issue? I'm thinking about clothes, toiletry, making sure I have cash on hand to go lose in the casino. I'm thinking about packing a couple of COVID rapid test kits just to be safe. And she's like, yeah, I got to figure out what books I'm taking. And I said to her, just so you know, that is so ridiculous. I'm taking it to the podcast. And she just stared at me. So, okay. So there you go. All right. So I feel a little bit better now. This is clearly, I need to be understanding that everybody is different in how they approach this. Got it. Lesson learned. So, all right. What do you got for me?
So we'll go back to football for this, I suppose.
Sure.
So we all know, we'll get into all this later, but there were some high profile moves past few days. But going to the Giants, who, are not high profile, their new GM has said that, he would be open to anything if there's someone came up to him with an offer for Saquon Barkley. So do you think the Giants are they just back to like square one? Like, are they at 0 now and just completely starting over? Like, is the Saquon experiment over now with a new coach and new GM?
Yes.
It's just done.
Next question. Yeah, I think they are done investing time and effort into Saquon Barkley. Let's be honest. Here's the issue with Saquon Barkley. He can't stay healthy. And guys who can't stay healthy, teams are not going to invest around them. We're hearing rumors now that the Panthers are listening to offers for Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is the biggest threat on the football field anytime he steps on it in any situation. It does not matter down or distance. He is a factor you have to consider. The problem is he hasn't spent a lot of time on the football field.
Not recently.
If Michael Jordan played like Michael Jordan but only played 12 to 15 games a year, he would not have been the valuable commodity that the Bulls made him.
True. No, that's true.
If you can't stay on the field, you don't have value. And so I think at this point the Giants are realistically looking. I think they are. And will they make a deal? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, so you're looking, you're a GM and owner of a team, and you're like, oh, we could use another running back, and you're looking at Saquon. Like, what would you even offer?
Well, the rumor on the street is they're looking for a 4th round pick. Or the value has been set at 4th round pick. And that's shocking to me. I can't imagine they're going to let him go for that low a price tag. If they were to trade him for a 4th round value, then you'd have to sit there and really say the Giants have clearly given up on this. They just wanted to cut ties. They wanted to get him out of there. So I don't think you can demand a 1st rounder. But I think if you're looking at a 4th rounder, you're looking at more than one pick. Right. I think realistically, it's a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah, I would definitely say. I would say a 3. If you're offering a 4 for him, I think it would have to be a multi-tiered thing. Like, it'd have to be more than a 4th round, or like you add in some other player or another pick. But yeah.
Okay, so for my last question, before we move on we have so many moves to discuss.
Thank God it's the off season.
Yeah, seriously. I've been looking already at Super Bowl odds for next year.
Yep.
I don't know if you've looked at these already.
I have not. Not recently.
Okay. I'm gonna quiz you. This is America's favorite game style here.
Okay.
The defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams are the 4th best odds.
Okay.
The team they beat, your Bengals, are tied for 10th.
What?
And that's where I'm going with this. This is how ridiculous this is. How many of the teams ahead of the Bengals can you name?
Oh, Jesus. All right.
And I'll tell you if they're better. There's 3 better than the Rams too, but I'll tell you where they fall.
Okay, so
You get 3 strikes as always.
okay. So let's go with the Chiefs.
They are the second. They're number 2.
They're number 2.
Yes.
Wow.
There's a team that is the Chiefs are plus 700. There's a team at plus 650.
The Packers.
Nope, they're at 750. They're the other team ahead of the Rams. There's one more team ahead of the Rams. So the Rams are 4th place at 1,000, plus 1,000. You got the Packers and the Chiefs ahead of them, but you still haven't hit this is according to DraftKings, by the way. This is their sports book. Because you're 2 for 2 so far.
Let's see. The 49ers.
The 49ers are actually 6th, but yes, they're in that as well.
Okay. Damn. Oh, God. I don't want to say it. The Cowboys.
Cowboys are 7th.
Oh, Jesus.
And again, so this is where we're going with this. Already, the Cowboys are ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals. A team that can't, a team that only goes to the Super Bowl if it hosts it or it buys tickets is ahead of the team that just played in it. And by the way, the Bengals didn't exactly get worse. This isn't like a one into it's Joe Mixon didn't walk in and go, you know what, this has been a lot of fun, but I'm going to go try, I don't know, baseball. Nothing catastrophic has happened to their roster, and nothing amazing has happened to the Cowboys, and yet the Cowboys are a better favorite than the Bengals. All right, there's still, 1, 2, 3, 4 more teams ahead of the Bengals.
Jesus. All right. The Ravens.
The Ravens, 8th.
Oh, my God.
The Baltimore Ravens, they're in the same division.
They are.
They're technically tied. They're both plus 2,200, but they're listed on this list at 8th. So
okay.
So you see where I'm going with this. But go on, there's 3 more. You got 3 more. Teams number 1, team number 5, and team number 9.
The Titans.
Is number 9.
Really?
At plus 2,200. Yep. There's only 2 on this list, and you haven't missed a single one yet.
God.
I don't think there's any chance you get one of these. I'm shocked you haven't gotten the other one, though.
The Chargers.
Nope.
All right.
Where are the Chargers on this list? The Chargers are behind the Bengals.
The Bills.
The Bills are number 1. The
All
Bills
right.
are number 1 at plus 650. They are the odds-on favorite. So there is 1 team on this list, and you have 2 strikes. And I will be shocked if you get this.
Let's see. When was this updated? Was this updated before all of this craziness this week?
This is today.
Today.
This is current. If you wanted to place a bet right now on March 9th, 2022, this is the odds you're looking at.
The Broncos.
The Broncos are freaking number 6.
Oh my God. What? I'm going to drink this beer now.
The Broncos are giving better odds than the Niners, Cowboys, Ravens, Titans, and Bengals.
Oh, my God.
And you know why? Because Russell Wilson went there today.
He did. That he did.
We'll go there next in a second, but do you want to know what the number was before?
Sure.
It was plus 2,500. It put them tied with the Chargers. The line moved 1,300 points because of the Russell Wilson trade.
Now, I like
That's
Russell
my question
Wilson.
to you. React. Go for it.
I like Russell Wilson. He's a talented quarterback, but when's the last time he won a Super Bowl?
Like his first year? Like
And then
8 years ago?
Then they lost the other Super Bowl to the Patriots with a really stupid call on the goal line.
Yep.
And then they haven't really done much.
Nope.
But okay.
And you can't say he doesn't have weapons. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are weapons. The running back situation has been terrible. Yeah, but you got 4 guys, and one of them's always been healthy at this point.
Right.
You have a team there. Not to mention, you brought in tight end after tight end, and you brought in Jimmy Graham when he was good, and you couldn't make that work. And now let's also consider the fact, how often does a quarterback go to a new team and right away have an impact unless your name is Matt Stafford or Peyton Manning?
I think that was it, really.
Are you telling me that Russell Wilson is Peyton Manning?
I think that's what they're trying to do.
Because I think we can all acknowledge that Matt Stafford's success was systematic, right?
It was. He finally got to the right team for his play style.
Right. That's exactly it. It was systematic. He took Cooper Kupp from one of the top 20 wide receivers preseason. I think we had him at 11 or 12 and made him the number one and the Super Bowl MVP, which was the only good thing that came out of that game, by the way, because I'm the asshole who put $20 on Cooper Kupp to win the MVP and almost fell off the couch. I said to my wife, I only hit a one or two of my bets tonight. And she was like, oh, did you lose money? I'm like, yeah, I'm down a couple of bucks. She goes, but hey, if Cooper Kupp is the MVP. And she goes, I don't know who that is. And 3 minutes later, he's standing on the stage. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a chance. He's on the stage. Matt Stafford's on the stage. The offensive lineman, I think it was, or defensive lineman who was 150 years old was on the stage. I'm like, oh my God, there's a chance. And I looked at her, I said, that's Cooper Kupp. And she's like, ooh. And then they announced his name, and there was a mini party here as hit for $400 because he was a plus 2,000. I'm like,
nice.
And who called it? I called the bet, but who said that's the intriguing bet? The frickin' source.
Yep.
A week before the Super Bowl, he's like, why is Cooper Kupp at plus 2,000 for MVP? That's insane. And I went, $20 plus 2,000. Go. Immediately did it. This list is insane. Okay, teams that should be higher than the Bengals right now. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Packers. The Rams, because they won that game, okay, you can make that argument. The Broncos, no. The Niners, no. The Cowboys, no. The Ravens, no. The Titans, no. Cincinnati should not be any worse than 5th on this list.
No, considering they were just in said Super Bowl.
They were just in it. And you know who's right behind them? Arizona.
Arizona.
Arizona's plus 2,200. They're tied technically with the Bengals, Ravens, and Titans in that.
How is Arizona?
Because they're deeply talented, but they don't.
They stop winning after Thanksgiving.
Yes. Which, if you listen to the source, I'm going to have him do a deep dive on this. Is kind of a Cliff Kingsbury issue, which I can see. I can absolutely see.
And they just signed. They're giving him an contract extension
because they keep making the playoffs, and the Cardinals never make the playoffs before this.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, what do you want? What is happy for you? So, all right. So before we move on, because we're going to talk about all the moves, I want to tell you the bottom 6.
Okay.
So your follow-up question is, you have to bet one of these 6.
Okay.
Who's your money on to win the Super Bowl? In no particular order, the bottom 6 in terms of odds are the Falcons, the Giants, the Jaguars, the Bears, the Seahawks, and the Lions.
Not the Jets? Wow.
Where are the Jets? Where are the Jets?
I don't know.
Oh, wait. No, my God. I didn't scroll all the way down.
Oh, jeez.
After the Lions come the Texans and the Jets. All right, so there's 8 teams for you. You got to bet on one of those 8 teams. Falcons, Giants, Jags, Texans, Bears, Seahawks, or Lions, Jets.
I'm going to go with the Bears.
See, and that they're plus 9,000. I think my money's on the Lions. Not because I think they're making it, but just because it'd be such a great story.
Which team has the lowest odds or highest odds? Lowest odds.
The Texans and the Jets are both plus 20,000.
Wow! So if you put $20 on one of them,
all right, hold on. I'm putting it in. $20 bet on the Jets to win the Super Bowl would pay $4,000.
Nice.
That I would rather set a $20 bill on fire. I think than just put $20 on the Jets.
Oh man.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to all the news and notes because there's a ton going on here. All right. Let's start with the big news that isn't news because he says it isn't news. Aaron Rodgers says. Or people are saying Aaron Rodgers has agreed to a 4-year deal to become the highest paid player in NFL history. Aaron Rodgers realizes that this is big news and immediately decides to amp up the drama by saying the quote, just want to clear some things up. Yes, I will be playing with the Packers next year. However, reports about me signing a contract are inaccurate. as are the supposed terms of the contract I, quotes, signed, end quotes. I'm very excited to be back. Put that on Twitter. Before I take your take on this, I am so tired of talking about a guy who doesn't do anything but cause drama. You know that I can't remember who said it, but somebody said winning is the best deodorant. That's the only reason. If this were anybody else, if this were Terrell Owens, if this were Michael Irvin, I'm trying to think about if this were Marshawn Lynch that had gone through the stuff that Aaron Rodgers has gone through in the last couple years, he literally got his head coach fired and got the guy of his choosing. He forced a trade to acquire Randall Cobb. They're reportedly shopping Jordan Love because of this. And he's won absolutely nothing outside of the regular season. Why are we talking about a guy who can't get it done that causes all this drama?
Because he goes on podcasts and people like talking about him, really, I think.
Oh, don't get me started on Pat McAfee, like railing on Ian Rappaport for reporting this. Don't even get me started.
Well, that's all because Ian and his oh no, wait, that was Adam Schaffer that did that had the wrong reporting that time.
Yes. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'm very critical of Ian Rappaport in general. I've been on the record saying I think when he says somebody's out, I wait for somebody else to report it. I don't go on his reports. But he's not wrong all that often. And you know what? Bottom line is he's been right a lot more often than Pat McAfee, who allowed apologist drama creator Aaron Rodgers on his podcast.
What are the Packers? So theoretically, the Packers are going to pay him $200 million for 4 years.
In theory.
Like, what? And you look at Aaron Rodgers' track record in the playoffs. Like, what? I don't know. What if he can't at least win one Super Bowl in the next 4 years? Like,
then it's a failed contract. It's a failure of a contract.
I don't know. He is good, right? Even Cinch says that he is a good quarterback.
Yes.
But, he hasn't won anything since that one Super Bowl. And I don't know, that's a lot of money for, someone who hasn't won a Super Bowl in a while.
And that's my point.
Someone who can't, for whatever reason, can't beat the 49ers in the playoffs.
And again, I'm sitting here railing about I'm sick of talking about him.
And we're talking about him.
I openly admit, yeah, we're talking about him. I openly admit that when we were in Scott Fishbowl this year, and we got Mahomes at 1.
Yep.
We were salivating because he was there when we came around and we grabbed him in round 2.
He's a good quarterback.
He is a good numbers quarterback. But for the amount of time and effort we spend talking about what Aaron Rodgers wants, it is not equitable. Like we spend more time shaking our heads at Jackson Mahomes than we do talking about his brother. And his brother has won a Super Bowl.
That's true. That's true.
I'm tired of it. I am absolutely tired of it. I have Aaron Rodgers fatigue. So you know what? I will probably rank him in the top 5 quarterbacks when I sit down to do my quarterback rankings. He might even be my number 1 this year. But I am done worrying about what Aaron Rodgers' contract is. I am done worried about what his coach thinks. I am done worried about who he's playing with. I am done with all of that shit because it is burnout and it is not worth our time.
Now, did they tag Adams?
Adams has been tagged.
All right, so he's there. He's there at least a year then.
At least a year, and they're going to have to pay him a boatload of money. I
don't know. What's their cap? Can they afford this?
What's their cap situation? Honestly, hold on. Let me go over the cap. I'll pull it up. We'll do it live.
I mean, I'm sure they already did the math, but I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, somebody's got to, right? And they've officially offered it to Okay, and again, these numbers aren't accurate according to the King of Drama. Oh my God, the Packers are so in the red. They are literally at the bottom of the list on over the.
You say that's like it's a bad thing.
They are literally at the bottom of the list.
Huh.
His cap number is $20.1 million. Devontae Adams.
Oh, okay.
So Aaron Rodgers is going to cost them 46.6 based on the numbers that we know now, which are the right numbers. Okay. They're going to have to make some cuts. They can make some cuts by cutting Zadarius Smith. They can save money by cutting Preston Smith. I mean, when I say money, I'm talking about tens of millions. Randall Cobb would save them $6 million if they cut him. $6.7 million. That's not going to go over well. Mason Crosby, who is fantastic, but they'd save $2.3 million. He's not $2.3 million. Oh my God. They can save $2.4 million by cutting Mercedes Lewis. I didn't even know he was still in the league.
He still plays? I didn't know he still plays.
his cap number is actually $4.5 million if they have him on the roster.
God bless his agent.
They only take a $2 million hit if they cut him, so they save $2.4 million. I'm going to go out on a limb. Mercedes Lewis is getting cut. You know what it is? It's a prorated bonus. It's a prorated bonus. They back-ended his deal. That's what it is. But oh my God, I can't anymore. I'm done with it. All right, moving on. Really quick, I'm just going to touch base on this one. Tyrann Mathieu is expected to leave the Chiefs. This is not a surprise to anyone who is following the Chiefs. We have been saying the entire year there is no way the Chiefs can afford to re-sign Tyrann Mathieu at the number that he wants, and frankly, the number he probably deserves. As of right now, the Chiefs are just under $6 million already over the cap, and they don't have a lot of flexibility. They could cut Frank Clark. That would save them $12 million. I'm trying to see where else that's really it. Orlando Brown, they could cut him for $16 million. They're not going to do that. He's the left tackle. But other than that, most of their guys are on really the front end of a big contract. Like Travis Kelce only counts, his cap number is only $8 million, and they only save $3 million if they cut him. So, and you're not going to cut Travis Kelce. I'm just saying there's not a lot of savings out there by making roster moves for the Chiefs. So we know he's not going to resign there. Your thoughts on this? Where does he go?
That's what I was going to ask, like, because you had the site in front of you. Like, who can afford him? Like, who are the top 5 teams you think can afford him in
terms of cap space as of this moment?
Before I pick one. I want to pick one that can afford him.
The top 5 teams in terms of cap space are the Colts, Dolphins, Seahawks, Jets, and Chargers.
Ooh.
And yes, he will go to the Chargers. That's my call. They're the closest, and they have $42 million in cap space. $42 million. Just saying.
Yep. No, I can see that. Or I could see the Jets only because of who their coach is. But yeah, probably the Chargers.
It's possible, but he's going to want to go to a contender. He's going to definitely want to go to a contender. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on Tyrann Mathieu. We'll move on from that. There's so much happened. Carson Wentz gets traded today to
Carson Wentz
to Washington Commanders. I think it's hysterical. I'm looking at the CBS article of it, and it's a picture of Carson Wentz who's looking confused with his hands out, like what just happened. It looks like he's looking at an official begging for a flag, but it's the perfect picture to sum up Carson Wentz's career. What just happened is the kind of the summary. It should be the title of his NFL films should be Carson Wentz, What Just Happened. Because you're right, the story of his career. So Carson Wentz is going back from the Colts, back to the Eagles. The Colts will reportedly receive a 3rd-round pick this year, a 3rd-round pick that escalates to a 2nd-rounder if Carson Wentz plays 70% of the snaps. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Is he going
and
to?
And a 2nd-round pick this year. So they got a 2nd round and a 3rd round this year, and they get a conditional pick next year And the Commanders get Wentz and a 2nd-round pick. So basically the price tag was a 3rd-round pick and a conditional pick for Carson Wentz. Thoughts?
Can
he do something there?
He can if he stays healthy. I don't know.
The answer is no. He can't do anything there.
My question is, what are the Colts going to do? Like, I can't see them drafting a quarterback. I don't even know where they're going to draft, but
yeah, I don't know. I here's what I think. I think Frank Reich thinks he is a genius when it comes to quarterbacks. I don't know that he is, but I think he thinks he is, and I think he thinks he can fix anybody that can stay on the field, and Wentz can't stay on the field. And so consequently, I don't think they would be making this move if they didn't already know who they wanted or had a commitment. The rumor is that they're going to pursue Jordan Love. I don't know that that's the case, but it would make sense for them to do so because he thinks he can turn this kid around. He does. This is what he thought he could bring Phillip Rivers in and turn him into a Super Bowl contender in 1 year. He thought he could bring Carson Wentz in and be a Super Bowl contender in 1 year. 1 year.
1 year.
Now, keep in mind, Wentz he threw 15 interceptions in his last game.
As long as he stayed under 30 pass attempts, they were good.
Yeah, that's it. And he only threw 7 this year. He cut his interceptions in half.
Really?
But that's to your point. Yes.
Oh.
But to your point, they threw the ball less. He's not being asked to win the game. He's being asked to manage the game. I think that they've got to have a plan. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. They've got to have a plan. I don't know what that plan is, but they got to have a plan. That plan can't be Russell Wilson because he was traded to the Broncos.
I mean, my thing is maybe Jordan Love, but then the Packers don't have a backup if Rodgers gets hurt. I'm assuming they are going to go after Watson and just kind of try to ignore his off-field issues because who else is out there for them to get?
It's going to have to be via trade. It's going to have to be a trade. So I dare you right now to name the third string quarterback on Green Bay right now. And
it should still be Blake Bortles.
No, it's not though. It's someone named Ben Kurt.
Who?
Yeah, he's in his second season.
What if the Colts get Blake Bortles?
Oh my God! Don't even. Colts. Okay. If the Colts sign Blake Bortles, it's instant Super Bowl. Instant Super Bowl. You got to make the odds like plus 500. Put him ahead of the Bills. Put him ahead of the Chiefs. Instantly, you just got to shoot them right up the list. Like I don't even look at their schedule. It's a 13-win team with Blake Bortles. What about what's his name? Our former buddy from the Bears.
Nick Foles?
No, the other bad one, Mitch Trubisky.
Oh no, I heard the Giants want him now.
Oh my God, why?
Because they don't have anyone else.
And listen, folks. We are the biggest Blake Bortles homers because we find him amusing. Because I do the stupid Tony Cicada voice. I get it. Blake Bortles is way better than Mitch Trubisky.
Blake Bortles went to the playoffs with the
and didn't he
Jaguars.
Start a game this year? Didn't he start a game this year and win it?
Did he? He may have.
Didn't he start the one game that one of the games that Rodgers was out?
Possibly, or he at least played in it. I don't know if he started. So maybe.
Wait a minute, hold on. Game logs. No, okay, he has not appeared in a game since 2019. That can't be right.
What's Gardner Minshew doing right now?
Oh, that's who I'm thinking of. I'm getting Minshew and Bortles mixed up in my head.
Well, I mean, they're both Jaguars.
Both Jaguars. and Bortles is technically a Saint right now, technically. So, I don't know. The Saints don't know what they're doing.
No, the Saints are a mess now.
They've got a Swiss Army knife. They've got Jameis Winston, and they've got Blake Bortles.
Yes. And maybe Mike Thomas if he decides he wants to play again.
Now, Denver gave up a first-round pick, number 9 overall.
Didn't they give up Noah Fant, too?
It's first-round pick next year.
Wow.
It's second-round pick this year. It's second-round pick in 2023 and a fifth. They gave up 3 picks this year and 2 picks next year and Noah Fant. Oh, and not Drew Lock. Somebody else was in this deal, too. Somebody else was involved in this deal. I was like, why the hell is this guy his name on here?
So much for Noah Fant in fantasy because historically, Seattle's really not a tight end team.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. What else have we got here? We've got to talk about Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, let's talk about Calvin Ridley. Thanks, NFL moral police.
Go ahead. I'll yield the floor on this one.
Okay, so he was hurt. And now if you listen to one of these 227 episodes, you probably heard me complain about Pete Rose being banned from baseball for betting on games.
It's happened.
Which has happened. Okay, so Calvin Ridley got hurt or whatever happened. He wasn't playing. He wasn't with the team. He bet on NFL games. $1,500 worth of games. So he says. Somehow, I don't know who he pissed off for the NFL to find out about this. the NFL found out about he was betting on games. The NFL then decided that they were going to indefinitely suspend him for all of next season, at least. At least. Yeah. For betting on a game that he's not involved in.
Legally
betting. He's not calling Uncle Salvatore down the street at an Italian deli who's
you
a
leave
bookie.
Sal out of this. Sal's a good guy.
He is, damn it.
Sal's good people.
So he's suspended for at least a year, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's people in the past of the NFL like, we'll just say Ray Rice, who punched his girlfriend in the face and knocked her out, completely unconscious, and dragged her out of an elevator. He was suspended for 3 games.
Yep.
2 games.
Oh, well, he never played again, but yes, initially he was suspended very lightly.
Yeah, right. Like, no one else wanted to sign him. That's what I mean.
Kareem Hunt kicked a woman in a hallway. He served like half a year. So, let's see. Adrian Peterson disciplined his child with a switch, and he pretty much got ostracized.
Yep.
The list just goes on and on. So I think where you're going with this is inequity, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the word I was going to get to. But yes, thank you. That's my stance on it. It's stupid. It's
the
stupid.
NFL has no moral authority. End of story.
They don't.
And that's it. They want us to think they do, and they want to pretend that they do. They have no moral authority. And I'm going to go even further back. Do you know when they surrendered all moral authority? When they hid concussion stuff a decade ago.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
More than a decade ago.
Yeah.
So
that Will Smith movie.
And I'm sure it's in... I am absolutely sure that while we're talking about him legally betting on games from a standpoint of state law and government law, I'm sure it's a violation of the NFLPA rules. I'm certain of it. There is no way the league has this contract with the union and does not have some provision on there. But the whole point is to treat it less seriously than physically and violently hurting other human beings. Mm-hmm. The league investigated freaking Tyreek Hill because he had an argument with his girlfriend in an airport in which he made a vague reference to, "You better hope I don't do something like that." He didn't even sit there and say, "I'm going to kill you." He was like, she made some sort of reference to being physically hurt. And he goes, "You better hope I don't." And they investigated that, but didn't do anything. And then this gets a full year.
Yep.
There's an equity problem in terms of the punishment. There is absolutely an equity problem in terms of the punishment. And I don't want to hear, well, the union's too powerful. Do it and let the union fight you and let the union be the people that are not morally stable here. Give Adrian Peterson a 3-year suspension. Give Kareem Hunt a 1.5 or 2-year suspension. Give Ray Rice a lifetime ban and let your ass get sued in court and at least have some sort of effort on your part. And that's not what they do, except here, because they want to send a message to all the other players that they will find it and they will punish you.
I really wonder how they found out. Like,
you know what?
Who
it doesn't even matter.
Who did Calvin really piss off for them to find out he was betting on games?
Doesn't even matter to me. I understand the curiosity on that because, initially that was mine too. I'm just too angry with the league's inability to police itself properly. Mm. And why are we hearing about this now? This happened while he was injured. He was away from the team for weeks, months. Why are we hearing about this now?
Yeah, it's par for the course of the NFL, sadly.
I do investigations for a living. Part of my job is to investigate stuff that happens. Last week, I had an allegation come across my desk that was extremely serious. Obviously, for legal reasons, I'm not going to discuss any details of it. But let me just tell you, 7 hours later, I had a conclusion about what was going on because it was serious, and I stopped what I was doing, and I got it done. I was able to go into my boss and go, here's what happened, here's what we need to do about it. 7 hours.
And you don't have the manpower and money of the NFL.
I am one person. I drove my ass to like 6 different sites to track down information. But I had all my bases covered in 7 hours. It's been like 4 months, and they come out with this. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
It is.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
All right, last item before we get to final thoughts. We do need to recognize that yesterday on March 8th, 2022, Johnny Greer, the very first African-American referee, passed away. He was 74 years old. He lived a very long life. Now that I've seen pictures of him, I'm like, I remember this guy calling games in my youth, and he was a good official. And that's not something I can say about a lot of people. So, it's, our best wishes to his family and his friends during this difficult time. The easy thing for me to say before I get your thoughts on it is they just don't make them like that anymore. Officials these days, not as good as Johnny Greer, period. So your thoughts on Johnny Greer?
Yeah, no, he was a referee for for the time that we were in high school and college. So I definitely remember seeing him. I remember him being consistent. Like, I know that's a very rare thing now these days.
That's
referees.
it.
But
that's it.
He was very consistent with his play, not play calling, but calling of a game. So it just makes you appreciate it since it doesn't happen very often now.
That's exactly it. You hit it right on the head there. That's where I was going with that. So, all right, final thoughts. Believe it or not, we're already out of time because there's just so many moves going on. Craig, hit me with your final thought.
Final thoughts is, and we say this the last 5 seasons, it's the off season, we're going to relax. But as you can see,
take a breath.
The NFL, they stopped playing, but things happen. So we will do our best to stay on top of everything because all of this news happened in 2 days.
Yeah.
And it happened all before Wednesday, mind you. So who knows what the hell's going to happen tomorrow morning.
That's exactly it. Because if you've listened to our show enough, you know that we record on Wednesdays. We typically release on Thursday or Friday. And every time we record, if something big is going to happen, it happens an hour to within 12 hours of the end of our recording.
Yes.
Someone will share something in our thread, and Craig or I will go, damn it. And we don't even have to ask why we're cursing about it. The other one knows. It happens all the time. So if all this happened before we recorded, what could possibly happen in the next 12 hours? I'm scared. I'm legit scared. So my final thought is just I want to go outside of football. I don't know if anybody else saw this or Craig, you saw this, but the Northeast Conference had its basketball tournament end last night. I think it was Wagner versus Bradley or Buckner or one of those really small schools. But the game had to stop because a fight broke out in the crowd. And I don't know who was involved, but at least 2 of the players tried to rush into the stands to protect somebody. And they initially threw out 10 or 15 people. If you watch the clip on ESPN has the clips up. The stands are completely full. Security descends after and by the way, the coach's fantastic job of tackling their own players and going, no, you're not rushing into a crowded arena. I'm not letting this happen. I don't care if it's your mom and dad up there. They can take care of themselves. But, so they did a great job with that. But they come back and they've cleared out 15, maybe 20 people. And the game is paused, and they're trying to restore order, and they're still having skirmishes. And then finally, the officials at courtside went, that's it, clear the entire section. All y'all, you're done. They threw out somewhere in the realm of 300 people.
Wow.
From this basketball game.
That's unheard of.
They cleared out the entire student sections, which were right next to each other, which, by the way, don't put your student sections next to each other.
Yeah, that's probably not the best seating planning ever.
You and I have been to UConn games. There is the student sections for the UConn games for football. It's a huge stadium. Well, not huge, but huge by my standards.
It's big.
The student section for UConn is at the far end zone from where the student section and the visitor section is. To start a fight, you would actively have to walk 5 minutes to get from one section to the other to pick a fight with the other teams. And for some reason, the Northeast Conference put these two schools right next to each other. My final thought is, folks, as we start to return to a sense of an ability to go to sporting events, indoor sporting events as well. This isn't basketball. I don't know if breaking news, basketball is usually played inside in the winter.
Usually.
March Madness is typically played in an arena. Typically. Not going to say always, because then I'll get an email. Actually, in 1947, there was an accident inside. They actually played on an outdoor court about 3 miles away. In that particular game, Wright State lost to Houston 73-47. Thank you. I'll get that email. I don't want that email. So typically they're played indoors at an arena. As we get back to being able to do this, as we're starting to try and get COVID under control, and COVID ain't gone.
You sure?
But we're getting there. We're making progress. As long as we don't ever celebrate Christmas again, I think we're going to be good. But as we get there, remember, these tickets to sporting events are not licenses to do whatever you want. You have a license to view the sporting event, and breaking news, that's all it is. Anything you do beyond that puts you in jeopardy. And that comes from a guy who routinely screams at officials when he's at live events. There is a line, and if you cross that line, don't be shocked when you're escorted from the arena. I give a lot of credit to those officials and to the Northeastern Conference for making that decision. They pulled the teams off the floor while they cleared these sections. They were like, nope, everybody in your locker rooms, you guys are getting an extra, you guys are getting a mini break.
That was really smart of them, actually.
It's really smart. It sets a precedent, and it should not be a precedent we have to set, but it clearly is. Do not confuse being a fan with those tickets are not licenses to be jackasses. And you're talking to a guy who once had a 5-minute face-to-face argument with a minor league umpire. I literally started screaming at a third base umpire when I was working at the Bluefish, and this dude interacted with me. He yelled back at me, and this went for almost 5 minutes. I almost got fired that night, but that's a whole nother story. He blew a call, and I called him on it, and there was not a lot of people there. I think it was late at night. It might have been an extra innings, and he just screamed back at me, and I told him, I can't remember exactly what I told him, but basically told him to do his job. Yeah, there was a lot of bleeping involved, and so that comes from a guy who routinely yells, "Don't be jackasses. We want to enjoy these things. We don't want them to be drama." You know where there is always drama, though, Craig?
Where?
I'm going to tell you. On our podcast page, on our review page, there is always drama. People are always writing in, and they're saying things like, "Sir, that was the best podcast episode I've ever seen. It was perfect. It was a perfect episode. Thank you, sir. Thank you." We get those comments all the time. If you would like to leave a comment like that, you should go to whatever podcast directory you use and leave us a comment, leave us a rating. If you would like to talk to us directly, reach out to us via email, fignutsdfs@gmail.com. Now is the perfect time to do it. There's nothing happening other than this. I can spend 5 fewer minutes on Russell Wilson and answer your email. Let's do it. Let's chat. You don't like using the email? The kids don't use the email these days. They use the Twitter. @FignutsDFS on Twitter. The Football Fignuts Podcast on Facebook. However you want to reach out to us, reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you guys think. It's a huge help when you guys do. So, off-season mode has begun. And I'm already starting to think about the NFL draft. I don't know if I told you this, Craig,
soon.
but a friend of mine at work approached me and asked when we were going to start doing draft coverage, and I almost fell out of my chair.
Wow.
I'm like, I didn't even know. See, that's the other reason you leave me a review. Because I'm like, I didn't know you were listening. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I've been listening for a while." Well, if you left me a review or sent me an email.
He could even send you an email at work.
Exactly. He knows my work address. Shoot me an email. Hey, subject, podcast question. I don't care. My employer might care, but I'll just forward it to the Gmail. It's fine. But we will be back next week. We're already starting to shift. I cannot believe we are already
crazy.
I can't believe all this has happened already. I cannot believe this.
Nope.
We've already had 3 major shifts in quarterbacks already. Wentz is gone, Wilson is moving, and Rodgers isn't.
Yep, and that's right as of right now. Who knows what will happen on Thursday?
Oh my God, and this is just quarterbacks, guys. There's a ton more to come. We didn't even get to talk about David Njoku tonight.
No,
I don't. Why? Why are you tagging David Njoku?
Because they also are going to need a quarterback soon, I guess. Apparently.
And you want him to play quarterback?
Possibly. He might.
I guess this makes sense if you're going to move Johnny Mitchell to wide receiver. It's insane. It's going to be. I got a feeling this is going to be a wild offseason. Wild offseason. which means lock in your bets now for the Super Bowl winner.
For the love of God, do that.
Tomorrow, Detroit resurrects Peyton Manning comes out of retirement, brings Jerry Rice, Altoon, and Marshall Faulk with him.
Yep, and Roger Craig.
And Roger Craig. And they all walk in, and somehow they've taken the Fountain of Youth, and they all sign with the Lions tomorrow. They're probably going to be the favorite for the Super Bowl. So lock it. The long-term bets. Again, I put money on the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl in like week 4 last year. And goddamn, I was just like, Craig will appreciate this. I'm going to put $10 on his team.
There you go.
So, all right. Anyway, I'm babbling. We will be back next week. Thank you so much for listening. We always appreciate it. Please do leave us a review. Do reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Until we speak next, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. And hi, Deb.